Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're peeling back the layers of one of the most misunderstood and honestly mysterious symbols in all of human history, the snake. We're going to take an incredible journey together, looking at the visual evidence and the historical records we have. We'll trace the snake symbolism all the way from those physical stone statues sitting in local temples, right down into the intricate biology of the human body. And finally, out into the deepest mysteries of the universe itself. Let's get into it.
So, let's start by addressing a really common mystery, one you've probably pondered yourself. Why do we see so many statues of snakes? I mean, think about it. If you walk into a traditional temple in Malleshwaram, you don't just see one or two snake figures, you see dozens of them carved right into the rock. Why is this one specific creature absolutely everywhere you look in these sacred spaces?
Section 1. Serpents in Stone. To answer that, we have to start at the most physical layer of this mystery, the literal slabs of rock featuring the deities of Hindu tradition. What's absolutely fascinating here is how the highest-tier deities are intrinsically linked to very specific snake forms. Take Ananta, for example, also known as Ananta Shesha. This isn't just some background character. This is the divine thousand-headed serpent that Lord Vishnu himself reclines on. Even Patanjali, the revered author of the Yoga Sutras, is considered a direct incarnation of Ananta. Then you've got Vasuki, who is famously coiled right around Lord Shiva. And of course Takshika, the revered snake god king. The point is, the highest powers in this theology, they are literally never depicted without their serpentine counterparts.
And this widespread reverence, it stretches across entire regions. It shows us that the snake is a really powerful, unifying element of worship, not just some localized myth. The traditional attitude towards snakes is kind of a unique blend of fear, mystery, and deep reverence, all rolled into one. And this isn't just passive respect either. People actively celebrate it during the Nag Panchami festival, a festival entirely dedicated to snake worship. And if you travel around, the specific devotion might shift, but it remains incredibly strong. You see it with the worship of Manasa Devi in West Bengal, or the nationwide reverence for the Nagas, the 8 forms of the Naga kings.
Section 2. Myths that shaped lands. Now we're moving from stone statues to the literal earth we walk on, specifically looking at the state of Kerala. 2,000, that is the staggering estimated number of sarpakavus, or sacred snake groves, currently found in Kerala. Think about that, 2,000 individual sanctuaries dedicated entirely to snakes. This highlights an unbelievable scale of geographic devotion that fundamentally shapes the landscape. But why so many in this one specific region?
Well, the answer lies in the foundation myth of the land itself. According to tradition, Parashurama actually created Kerala by pulling it straight out of the ocean. But because it came from the sea, the land was highly saline. It was completely unworkable. To fix this, Parashurama went to a temple at Manarsala, which, by the way, is a gorgeous temple still standing today about 50 or 60 kilometers from Kollam. There, he invoked the snake gods. The story tells us that the snakes arrived and magically converted that salty, barren ground into the lush, fertile land that Kerala is so famous for today. Basically, the snakes literally healed the earth.
Section 3. A universal global symbol. So, here is the crucial point. This recurring motif, it isn't uniquely bound to Indian geography at all. When we zoom out and look at the rest of the world, the exact same patterns emerge. You can go look at ancient Egypt or dive into ancient Greek mythology, and you're going to repeatedly find these profound elements of snakes woven into their most important stories. But honestly, perhaps the most striking global example is the symbol of medicine. If you walk into almost any modern hospital today, or just look at the side of a passing ambulance, what do you see? You see a central physical staff entwined with 2 snakes. From the ancients all the way to modern global healthcare, humanity has repeatedly utilized the serpent as the ultimate symbol of power and profound healing.
And this brilliantly illustrates the connection between the external world and our internal biology. Seriously, think about that global symbol of medicine again. The central staff with the 2 visible snakes winding around it. Now, compare that to the ancient tantric description of our internal biological and spiritual energy. In Tantra, they describe the central energy channel in the human body called the Sushumna, and it's flanked by 2 other pathways called the Ida and the Pingla. The visual similarity is exact. It's perfectly mirrored. The ancient medical symbol looks exactly like the internal biological channels detailed in tantric beliefs. How wild is that?
Section 4. Tantra and Inner Energy.
So now we're moving from the global, external world straight inside the human spine. To really understand this inner energy, we have to look at the Muladhara. This is described as a small cavity located at the very base of the human spine. In Tantra, the belief is that Devi, or Parashakti, is the actual energy that creates the complex human being inside the womb. But here's the catch. Once her work of creation is complete, she doesn't just leave. Instead, she settles down right into this Muladhara cavity. And how does she rest? Exactly like a snake, sitting dormant in 3.5 coils. The creator energy itself rests within every single one of us in a distinctly serpentine form.
And that brings us to the actual process and the purpose of Tantra. We start with Devi resting coiled up in the Muladhara at the base of the spine. Then, through dedicated tantric practice, this dormant, coiled energy is awakened. Once awakened, Devi uncoils and literally rises upwards through the body. And her ultimate destination? To eventually merge with Shivam in the Sahasrara, up at the crown of the head. The entire goal of this incredibly complex internal system is to uncoil and elevate this serpentine energy to achieve ultimate spiritual merging and awakening.
Section 5. The Cosmic Serpent Realm. Now, to see just how deep this really goes, we turn to Sri M's book, Apprentice to a Himalayan Master, and we are blasting outward from human physiology into the literal cosmos. The author details the experiences of his guru, Babaji, who purportedly interacted with an extraterrestrial entity, a planetary Naga Raja. In the text, he explicitly talks about, quote, a separate loka in the Milky Way called the Serpa Loka. According to these accounts, the serpents aren't just mythological carvings, and they aren't just internal energy metaphors. They represent actual entities existing in a distinctly separate realm, right here within our very own galaxy.
Furthermore, the belief is that these Nagas from the Sarpaloka were once in incredibly close contact with humanity. Like, we shared a direct, tangible relationship. But then, some kind of unexplained conflict occurred. We don't know the exact details, but whatever this rift was, it was so severe that it actually caused the Nagas to physically leave our world and return to their realm. It tragically severed our cosmic connection with them.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question. Will humanity ever resolve that ancient, unexplained conflict and regain our lost connection to the Sarpaloka? I mean, just ponder how this entire journey, starting from those cold stone temple statues of Takshaka and Vasuki, diving deep down into the 3.5 coils of energy at the base of your own spine, and shooting all the way out to a hidden realm in the Milky Way, challenges absolutely everything we think we know about the universe. These symbols, they are hidden in plain sight everywhere around us. It really makes you wonder, what else might we be missing? Thanks for learning with me today. Keep asking questions.